All right, this is a section called composition of functions. And you see this notation, F circle G, G circle F. You see that notation all over the place, and it doesn't explain what you want. F circle G really is short for this, F of G of X. So whenever you see F circle G, get rid of that. I'm trying to do that. Whenever you see G circle F, G of F, so erase that. That's the one you want to do. So those are the two things it's asking for. And that at least slightly explains what it is. Now, what it is, let's do it in a different color here, is I'm taking G and I'm trying to stuff it inside F. Okay, F is on the outside, so F is going to surround everything, and G is going to be stuck into the middle. So F of G of X here. Now, first I'm just going to worry about the F part. And I'm just going to take everything I see here, except whenever I see X, I'm going to write parentheses instead. And that's the entire step. Just leave that the way it is. Okay, so I've got some sort of surroundings, a frame, and G's can get stuffed inside. So stuffed into those parentheses, I'm going to put 2x plus 4. And that's the answer. And you could leave it that way, but if you want to kind of pretty it up, you can multiply it out. This is the hard part, is stuff G inside F. And so this is 6x plus 12 minus 2. So 6x plus 10. That's the answer, but you could leave it in that initial stuffed in phase. Now remember, anytime there's parentheses x, it doesn't mean multiplying an extra x. No extra x went into this after I did all that. Don't do anything with that. Just stuff G inside of F. So G of f of x is, let's put G on the outside, the 2, the parentheses, and the plus 4. So x has been replaced with parentheses. And then I'm going to just stuff f into those parentheses. 2 times 3x minus 2 plus 4. 6x minus 4 plus 4. 6x. All right, let's try another one. F of x is x squared plus 3. G of x is negative x plus 5. All right, so f of g of x, put some parentheses where the f is, or where the x is. The squared, that's not going inside the parentheses. It doesn't count as part of the x. So there's the squared up there, and there's the plus 3. Parentheses, stuff g into the parentheses. Plus 3. And you could just leave it there. If you really, really want to multiply this out, remember that you can't distribute the square. You got to FOIL that. That's got to be negative x plus 5 times negative x plus 5. FOIL, you're going to have some outer and inner terms in that. You can't just distribute the square. Anyway, the important point was to get that negative x plus 5 stuffed into those parentheses. G of f of x is, all right, stick G on the outside. The negative is still going to be there, the parentheses where the x is, and the plus 5. So in those parentheses, I write x squared plus 3, and then plus 5. Again, if you want to simplify it, I'd have to distribute my negative x squared, and then there'll be minus 3, so negative x squared plus 2. So if you want to simplify it, but you don't have to. X cubed plus 3x and x plus 1. All right, so f of g of x, parentheses, cubed, plus 3, another x, so another set of parentheses. X plus 1 cubed plus 3 times x plus 1. Again, if you really, really want to multiply that out, you can, but that's not a distributive property. That's got to be all FOILed. There's a whole lot of foiling. X plus 1 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. There's a whole lot of foiling that goes on in there. All right, so parentheses plus 1. And then in those parentheses, I put x cubed plus 3x plus 1. All right, one last one of these. F is the square root of x, and g is the absolute value of x minus 1. Absolute value takes things and makes them positive, and you may not be used to graphing functions with those or anything like that. Maybe you've never seen x's in there, but that's not really important because all I'm trying to do is move the symbols around. Okay, so on f of g of x, I know I got to put this thing there. Even if you didn't know what square root was, you know how to write one down. And you know you got to put parentheses right where you see the x. And then I got to put whatever g is into those parentheses. And even if you don't know what absolute value is, I could just copy the entire thing in there. The other way around. Okay, I'm going to put some absolute value, some parentheses minus 1, absolute value. And then in there, I'm going to put square root x. Okay, so without even knowing how to do absolute value or explaining it or anything, I know how to put some long bars on either side of whatever I'm writing, and that's really all you have to do.